Kia ora koutou. We're here today in Taranaki in New Plymouth at OMV headquarters because we're over it. We're over companies like OMV drilling in our sea, risking our marine environment, risking our futures with excess emissions, and we're over companies operating business as usual during this climate crisis and getting up to nefarious activities, war crimes, genocide, all the like. So we're here today with these amazing land protectors, having a grand old time, disrupting OMV's business. We've come all the way up from Timaru, where we blocked the Scandi Atlantic, their hench boat, from helping them operate their monster oil rig off the coast of Taranaki. So we're just here to have some fun, to let New Zealand, Aotearoa, know that we're here to stand up for all those people who have lost their voice to this harmful industry. So we're just going to have a bit of a walk around and see what's going on. Yeah. Kia ora. So we just got a bit of a live stream going here. So just here to ask you, why you're here.
Yeah, I'm here because I'm from Taranaki myself, so this is my back doorstep. And I couldn't think of anything worse of having that at risk from an oil industry who's just interested in making money rather than protecting our country that we live in.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're local here, and
I'm a local from Opunaki myself, so
awesome.
Just come up for the day to stand up for what I believe. Yeah.
Awesome. And so, what would you say to OMV if you had a chance?
I'd say think about us. Think about the next generation after you guys, because money is the short term for you guys, but for us, it's our lives at stake. It's our children's lives at stake. So yeah.
Kia ora. Nice. Awesome. So we're just going to keep taking a wander around. We've got this amazing frontline banner here of people putting their bodies on the line to stop OMV operating today. So yeah, would you like to have a wee chat about, so tell me a bit about yourself and why you're here.
My name is Sarah. I'm from Auckland and I'm one of the school strikers. A lot of us have come down here to show our support and join up with different climate action groups to just really show OMV that they're not welcome here in the climate crisis in Aotearoa. They're not welcome here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so we talk about a lot about climate justice. What does that mean to you?
Climate justice has a lot of different layers to it. Like, it's not just saving the planet, it's making sure we've got Indigenous justice. There's lots of people that are going to be disproportionately affected by climate change first, and it's just the future generations. It's justice for them as well as justice for us. Yeah.
Absolutely, cool. And if you could say a message to a politician or OMV, what would you say?
We just don't have time anymore for these sorts of games. You can make fun of us as much as you want for doing this sort of thing, but we're taking time out of our lives to show you that what you're doing isn't good enough, and just take action and just stop what you're doing.
Yeah, kia ora, nice, awesome. Cool, so we're going to take a wee walk to the front office entranceway, where we've got a bunch of people who have sitting there and putting their bodies on the line to block entrance in there. So this is New Plymouth, Taranaki. Amazing, beautiful place. If you've never been, this is my first time here, so I'm pretty excited to be here and standing up to such a giant company. So this is the whole building we've got here, and just is the front door. So it's pretty cool. We've got about 7 people here who are standing here and blocking. So kia ora everyone. We've got a live stream. Would anyone like to have a wee spiel and answer a question, or yeah? We're just thinking, so if you had something to say to OMV, what would you say to them?
You're compromising a great deal of, the compromises that you're putting us under are not appropriate. This is a climate emergency. We already have more reserves than we can afford to burn if humanity and the natural world is going to survive, and so we're here to tell you that enough is enough. There's no more time for oil exploration, and get out of Aotearoa.
Kia ora. And so we hear a lot about a just transition. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, sure. I think that it's incredibly important that we recognise how a move away from fossil fuels is going to affect our communities, and here in Taranaki that's going to be a really big issue, and the sooner that we start addressing that in the right place, not in continuing to explore while we sort it out, but in actually just directly working on just transitions now. And also we need to think about climate justice as well, which isn't just the communities in New Zealand's shores, but the entire world, and how we're going to approach this together.
Absolutely. And so we've had a bit of fun here this morning as well. Would you want to speak to sort of what's been going on in this sort of car park area here?
I saw some backyard cricket.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet. Yeah, what are we going to do next?
Stay tuned, and we're going to be doing a lot more. We're here for 3 days, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyone else want to have a wee talk, or pretty comfy, busy reading? Yeah, cool. Kia ora. Cool, so we're just going to make our way around the building now. This is quite a big headquarters, so it must be a lot of nefarious activity they're getting up to. So we're just going to make our way around the side and just meet up with some other people who are blocking some entranceways. And yeah, just disrupting OMV. We've got a bit of a little dance party of some school strike students over there, which is pretty cool. The School Strike for Climate NZ have turned up large here. So it's really cool seeing rangatahi stand up and speak for the future that they actually have to live. These OMV corporates, Rainer Seal, he's not going to be around when the main devastation of this will happen if we don't stop burning fossil fuels now. So pretty cool, yeah, we're having a lot of fun. Cool. Come through this way. Oh. So we've got a couple of members of Climate Justice Taranaki here. Did you want to speak to a bit about what's going on? Yeah. So you've been involved with an extensive campaign here against oil and gas here. Would you tell me a bit about what that's been like?
Yeah, our group started about a decade ago, and ever since then we've been trying to raise awareness as to the risks of continuing with fossil fuels, and I think we're having some success.
Yeah.
And it's great that you guys have all come to try and raise the bar.
Yeah.
Move the industry on. It's time they stopped.
Yeah, no, it's been really cool to be here. So we've spoken a bit about a just transition before. Has there been sort of much pushback from locals, and how do you deal with that if there is?
Yeah, it's well embedded here, as you know. Oil and gas have been here for a couple of 100 years, and so, or 150 years anyway. 1860s was the first well, so it was early days. But step by step, and I think a lot of people understand that there needs to be a transition, but they're not quite sure how it's going to work.
Yeah.
So, we're focused on trying to educate people as to that this can happen, needs to happen, and we should have been doing it, a couple of decades ago. Yeah. But, one step at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this government's now making the right noises. We just want them to walk the walk.
Yeah.
So, Yeah.
So what would sort of a Aotearoa 2040 look like, sort of a renewable energy community? What would that look like to you?
Yeah, well, our vision is for a much more diversified energy system. So, so smaller communities being more self-sufficient in energy, but also contributing to the national grid, just to build resilience, because we know that the climate isn't going to get less extreme over the coming century, so we need to be building resilience. So we're aiming for diversified mix of energy sources that don't include fossil fuels. We're also looking to diversify the agricultural industry here, because at the moment we're heavily Taranaki's heavily invested in industrial dairying, and there's an alliance there between the fossil fuel industry and the dairy industry, in as much as there's a huge amount of urea that's used to keep the large number of cows that we have. So we're aiming to get that transition happening as well, so that we're looking at more of a regenerative approach to agriculture, where agriculture actually becomes a sink for fossil for carbon dioxide and methane, rather than a source. So we know what we have to do, and the science is clear, the education's there, and the techniques are available. It's just getting the political will and people's awareness that this needs to happen rapidly.
Yeah.
And so in our decade of activism here, we get good traction, and I think that the media in particular has realised that they were fooled for a long time. They were deliberately lied to by this industry, that this was a hoax concocted by scientists, when in fact it was a hoax concocted by the industry to continue with business as usual.
Yeah. So on that note, what would you say to OMV if you could send Rainer Seal, the CEO, a direct message?
Get onto renewables. You know, this industry has had the money and had the wherewithal to have led this transition, and in fact they've done everything in their power to continue with business as usual to the detriment of the planet. In my view, this is the biggest criminal enterprise that's ever been perpetrated on the human race. It's the crime of the millennium, the way that these companies have behaved over the last few decades, because we know from by their own hands they will be damned in this, because their own scientists documented the climate crisis back in the 1980s. So they've known, and they've behaved appallingly. And at some point or other, when ecocide becomes a criminal offence, they will be tried. And they deserve to be. So,
Thank you. So, from Climate Justice Taranaki.
Yes.
Represent. Thank you.
Cheers, Jay.
Cool. So now we'll make our way around the building and see what's going on the other side. So it's been a lot of fun here. I sort of might address a few things we've sort of had from some passerbys. A lot of people have been supporting us, which has been so cool. Lots of toots from businesses, private vehicles, people on bikes, electric scooters, and sort of we've had a few people ask us, how did we get here? And so our answer to that is, we had to drive. We had to get in a bus, and we carpooled. But sort of the irony of we were using fossil fuels, but it's like participating in the system shouldn't disqualify us from trying to change it. The person who built the light bulb did so using the candle. We need to use what we have to make the better future that we all need and we all deserve. If we're here to have peace and love and Aotearoa in the world, to protect Papatuanuku, we've just got to work together and use what we have. It's a bit silly saying, oh, you're wearing oil clothes. It's like, well, would you rather us put them in a landfill, or would you rather us reuse them rather than buying excessive consumption per se? So here we go. We've got a side entrance here. We've got a bunch of cool people blocking this spiral staircase and this door. So how would you guys feel about being on live stream and answering a few questions? Cool, we'll come on around. Sweet, and so this is the second back entrance car park here. It might be a bit of a manoeuvring to get through. Might have to take a little bit of a duck. Ooh. So it's a bit of a misty day today, but we're all braving it in the rain. Not too cold, it's not Dunedin. Kia ora. Kia ora. So we're just on live stream at the moment. So we thought we'd just come and ask you a few questions on why you're here, where you're from, and what does this all mean to you. So who would like to?
I can go. Kia ora everyone, my name's Noel. So we're here at the OMV offices with the Greenpeace crew. I'm from Auckland, and I've made my way down here to tell OMV that we can't let business go on as usual, and that their planet-wrecking oil rigs are not welcome on our shores. So I would say that OMV are climate criminals for endangering the lives of people all over the world by continuing to dig for fossil fuels.
Cool, yeah. So we've heard a bit about climate justice, and would you like to talk about what that means to you?
What that means to me? To put it simply, it's that people who are suffering the biggest impacts of climate change are not the ones responsible for causing it, and that disproportionate responsibility lies with these big planet-wrecking companies still forcing their way into the earth to look for more fossil fuels.
And so we're in Taranaki. This is the sort of home of oil and gas exploration, and there are a lot of people here who their jobs and livelihoods depend on that, and some people have sort of voiced that going by. So what would you say to them if you had that chance, that opportunity?
I completely understand their feelings. There are a lot of people reliant on the industry for their income, but it's something that we have to think about as the bigger picture, that we're not leaving them behind on this journey. Our job is also to bring them along and ensure that their futures are secure. Cool.
Awesome. And where to from here? What is the sort of the next sort of step in, how would you sort of view a just transition in 10, 20 years? Do you have any ideas?
I can't speak to that.
Yeah, does anyone else want to speak to sort of what they'd like
transition?
Aotearoa to look like in 10, 20 years?
It has to be a place that kind of makes space for everyone.
Yep.
And realises that everyone's important in our community and shouldn't be left behind. It has to be inclusive, and it has to be, I guess, give voice to those people who are probably going to be hit hardest. Yep. Indigenous people and poor people. Yeah, it needs to be front and centre and given the opportunity to kind of come up with their own solutions to some of the issues that are going to affect them. Yep.
Cool. Kia ora. And yeah, how's it been this morning? How's sort of the vibe been? What have you been up to?
It's been fun. We've been making up songs,
learning
waiata.
Do you want to give a wee demonstration?
Which one
These
you gonna
guys
do?
will.
What are we gonna I can't remember the one you just taught us, so we have to go for one that everyone knows.
Yeah.
Pretty and I.
Okay, well,
Should we sing a bit of that? I think I know those lyrics too.
Take a better picture.
Yeah, right. Here we go.
Pretty and I. Toru pa.
E te hau, horoia, e te ua, whitia, e te rā, mahe ake nā, poraruraru, makere ana na here, makere ana na here. Oh, kia ora. Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah, lovely. So that's sort of what's been going on here. Singing some lovely waiata, having fun and sheltering from the rain. But this is a pretty cool umbrella you've got here. Yeah. Oh, nice. Kia ora. Cool. Well, we'll catch you up and stay strong, kia kaha, and thank you for protecting the Papatūānuku. So we'll just come along here. We've got this is the second kind of the banner blockade. So we've got sort of things saying make oil history, clean jobs now. So that's speaking to the just transition aspect, because we really want to work the government to work with industry to help protect workers and help them transition. You know, there are going to be so many more jobs in renewable energy than there already exist in oil and gas, and they're going to be a lot safer for the people, safer for the planet, and it's just, yeah, it's a no-brainer really. You know, like, we don't have nice things because of companies like OMV who have, you know, delayed meaningful action and change on just renewable energy economy. Yeah. And so yeah, we talk about that a lot, that just transition and what that would look like. And sort of personally for myself, I'd sort of say just transition, you know, it looks after communities, it looks after their needs for energy, you know, energy democracy that doesn't homogenize solutions across the board, but actually goes into communities, sees what the energy needs are and gives them the tools to help access that, rather than, you know, companies like OMV holding the power, that vested interest that have shown time and time again that they just get it wrong. They just care about profit. They don't care about harming people or the planet. And, you know, we're over it. We're just really over it. So we're just going to come in here to this other blockade. We've got a lovely little camp of people, and we've got some people playing some cards here. If they want to say hey or have a wee chat about what's going on. And
we're playing P's and A's, and it's very entertaining. I've won all the rounds so far. Like, I don't know, it's just, I'm really great at this game, like, you know.
And we're playing with rude Peruvian erotic art, if you'd like to
I
have
don't
a
know if that's going to be...
we're on live stream.
Oh, really? Like, you know,
Add some culture and diversity.
yeah.
Cool. Lovely. Would anyone like to sort of speak to why they're here today? And
Yes.
Yep. I'll come around here. I'll hold that
Okay.
there.
Do you want to look into the camera? Or
Oh, yep, just whoever's good.
Okay, so I'm here today because I am over OMV. I personally, and I think I speak for a lot of members of Greenpeace, School Strike for Climate and Extinction Rebellion, when I say that actually corporate interest does not go above the well-being of the planet. And right now, OMV is putting corporate interest over the over Papatuanuku. And right now, OMV is actually destroying the planet by deep sea drilling for oil. And we are here making a statement that actually enough is enough. Something has to be done. And so we are going to be spending the next 3 days outside OMV's headquarters in Taranaki and saying, actually, you know what, we got to do something about it.
Kia ora, that's really cool. So yeah, what's been happening here this morning? What have you been doing to sort of occupy the time and keep the spirits alive? Because it's a little bit cold and a little bit wet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a little bit cold, obviously. It's summer almost, isn't it? It's like late spring, you know, I'll count it as summer. But, you know, due to climate change, it is a bit cold, it is a bit chilly. So we've had some songs up front. I believe some people are playing cricket. Yeah, just playing some games of cards, you know, eating snacks, enjoying kai, talking with one another. And yeah, because we have a lot of people from all across Aotearoa, we're just, you know, talking about our experiences with all the different, like, environmental groups. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. Kia ora. Yeah, so we've heard a lot from a few people about what climate justice means to them. Would anyone like to speak to that, or you can keep going if you like?
Michael will keep going all day, eh?
If I could, yeah.
You can just keep the camera there.
Yeah, do you want to speak to what climate
Tripod.
justice
I don't
Yeah,
know.
like for me individually, I think climate justice is more than just making sure the planet is healthy, because climate justice is intertwined with workers' rights, with indigenous rights, with you know, with queer rights, with like all these different minorities and like, you know, diverse groups. It isn't just if we fix the planet everything's going to be fine. It's actually that in order to fix the planet we need to fix our economic system, we need to fix our social systems, we need to have a better and newer way of having democratic decisions be made to actually fix what is currently going on. So it isn't just about the government, you know, putting through new legislation. It's actually about power coming from the bottom level of society, and then it rising up and saying, actually, this is a people's movement, and climate justice needs to be dealt with in every single scenario, you know, possibly, you know, where we can.
So would you say collective action is imperative for everyone, not just sort of passing, you know, just those greenwashing techniques like, you know, ban plastic straws and, yeah, what would you say to that?
Like, of course it is. Like, I think that there's a bit of an iffy scenario going on with neoliberalism that actually, if everyone just went vegan, or if we, you know, drove EVs, or, you know, didn't use plastic straws, or tried to cut out, like, plastic from, you know, everyday usage, then the climate crisis will be fixed. When in reality, it isn't actually like that. It's that capitalism exploits the planet, and so we can't fix the climate crisis through capitalism, and we actually need to have a new way of making sure that the basis of our, you know, lifestyles isn't exploiting the planet, so that people don't have to go through those, like, you know, those extra steps to go and save the planet through, you know, reducing their carbon emissions. It needs to be the basis for everyone, so you have to go out of your way to actually destroy the planet.
Yeah. Yeah, kia ora. So on that note, what would you like 2040 Aotearoa to look like, or do you have any ideas?
2040 Aotearoa. I don't know how old I'll be then. It's like what?
20 years.
20 years? Yeah. Okay. Right now. Okay, I'll be 35. When I'm 35, I want Aotearoa to be still like alive. Would be great, you know. Our ecological system's not completely collapsing. I'd like to see, you know, species of penguins still alive. You know, I really like our marine, like, biodiversity, and also, you know, the biodiversity of all, like, the birds and you know, other taonga in New Zealand. I just think that, you know, in 2040, I want to have sustainable communities where we can decentralize power as much as possible, so not having a major state overlooking everything and, you know, controlling every aspect of our lives as, you know, it is today. Yeah, I you know, being a climate activist doesn't really make you that hopeful sometimes. When you look at the science, it can be, you know, quite, you know, devastating to actually realize that this is happening. Unless we do something right now, it's not going to get much better. It's actually going to get a lot worse. So, you know, I do have my hopes up, but we still need to acknowledge that this is a problem and we still aren't doing enough to fight it.
Well, thank you. Those are some really good answers, and just want to say, when I was 15, I was not that articulate. So kudos to you and all these amazing, all these amazing rangatahi who are speaking truth to power. And thank you for that. Yeah, cool. So yeah, we'll move on over here. We have some lovely some music going on, some people reading some books and having a nice little time. Kia ora. We're just on a cheeky little live stream. If anyone would like to answer some questions about why they're here today.
Or just play us a song.
Or just play us a song. Yeah, this is beautiful. Thank you for that. That was beautiful. Looks like you guys are holding the fort down really nicely. And yeah, kia ora. Thank you for being such brave land protectors here. Cheers. Yeah, ka kite. I'll see you soon.
We'll be here.
Yeah, for 3 days. Yeah. Cool. This is amazing. I'm just feeling really proud and just humbled by all these amazing people here who have come all across Aotearoa to stand up to OMV, to stand up to corporate greed, to stand up to business as usual, to stand up to ecocide, to genocide, to all those harmful practices to the planet that companies like OMV have been doing knowingly for so long. So just wow. Yeah, we're just here. We might just say hello to these people that we kind of jumped past when we got to the stairs earlier and take a look at these banners just under here. Oh, whoops, we've got a little bit of an escape. Oh, kia ora. So yeah, we'll just come over and say hello to these people. We're on a live stream right now with Greenpeace, and we're just wondering if you wanted to speak to about why you're here today, who you are and what's going on. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm here today because we need to end oil. We need to end. Yeah, we've got 10 years to cut our emissions by half if we want to have a chance of staying below 2 degrees. That's very important for all of our futures. Yeah.
Cool. And if you had a message to OMV, what would you say to them?
Give up your permits, and invest in clean energy.
Nice, cool. Thank you so much for that. And amazing. Thank you for all your work here protecting the planet. Might just say, does Luke want to have a wee interview right now? Yeah. So we've got Luke here, who's from School Strike. It's a bit turbulent today, the wind. Luke's here from School Strike for Climate, and so we're just on live stream right now, speaking to Aotearoa. And we just want to ask you about why you're here today. What does climate justice mean to you, and what's been going on?
I'm here today, and I think a lot of the kids are here today because we're terrified that the future that's laid out in front of us is not of the same quality or near the same quality as that of our parents. And what's even scarier is that we're the lucky ones. So if you look to kids in the Pacific, if you look to kids in places like Africa, closer to the equator, the amount of food droughts, rising seas, and how that's all going to affect everyone. Like, the fact that we're scared, I can't even imagine what it would be like. And then to see that countries that are supposedly, democratic, liberal, progressive, like New Zealand, are still mining for oil and still putting up with oil spills, that to me is disgusting.
Yeah, kia ora. So we have a company like OMV. They're an international oil giant. What would you say to them, to Rainer Seal, the CEO?
I'd say to give up your permit, to leave New Zealand, because you're not welcome here, and I doubt you're welcome anywhere else.
Yeah, Kia ora. Yeah, do you want to speak to a little bit about what's been happening today, what we've been up to, and what we plan to do for the next wee while?
Yeah, so today we've just been camping out OMV, making sure that they can't make any more progress to try and get some fracking started out in just off the shore of the Taranaki. And yeah, we've been pretty successful. I don't think anyone has been able to get into the office today. And we'll keep going at it until they do something.
Nice, yeah, awesome. And do you have a message to anyone in the audience who hasn't been involved and maybe a little bit scared to, or what was it like for you? What made you get started?
I mean, I'm just a 17-year-old kid, and if I can do it, then anyone can do it. You don't have to start out by occupying a place and risking arrest. You can start out by going to your local school strike, going to tree plantings, getting together with people, having the conversations. That's where it all starts. I think an important part of it is re-politicising our public spaces, our schools, our private spaces, our homes, because at the moment it's seen as almost taboo to talk about controversial things that, someone's trying to get in. I don't think they're going to be able to.
So we've just got someone here trying to get in. We can't actually allow that right now, so this is the point of a peaceful protest, is that we disrupt them, because this is what they've been doing. They've been disrupting the planet. So it can be a little bit confrontational and scary, but as we stated last night at Parihaka, it's the home of peaceful resistance, so we just meet it with love, with compassion, and we explain to them what's going on, because we understand that they're just in the system just as us. And so we've just had our lovely Neve speak to this person, and it looks as if though they decided to leave, which is, that's really cool. Maybe they're not leaving. So maybe we need to just you're seeing the real action right now. Most of the time this is pretty chill, but occasionally we do get a little bit of conflict, and I think we may get that. We don't want it. It's not fun. It's not good for anyone. But we recognise it's necessary to disrupt things, put our bodies on the line just to do this. So he might get past us, but I don't think he's going to get inside into the buildings, because we have multiple groups on every door just blocking that. Some people say you're breaking the law, you're trespassing, you're preventing business, and I guess we'd say to that, business as usual is killing the planet. It is killing people. OMV standing trial late 2020 next year for commissioning war crimes in Sudan, and one of their oil permits, 12,000 people murdered, 160,000 people violently displaced. These things don't happen in a vacuum, and all of these countries that have come in and had their resources exploited, these companies are always behind the scenes. And so we're here to connect those dots and say, what is going on, guys? Like, what is happening here in Aotearoa when we have people like this, war criminals, operating? We've got politicians like Simon Bridges and Simeon Brown this morning endorsing these people, and it's like, what is going on? This is just not cool. So we have this happening, so we might just sort of see what's going on. Can get a little bit confrontational, but it's all good. We're just keeping peaceful. We've been singing a little waiata. It's been keeping the energy nice and chill, and he will do what he's going to do, and that's just how it goes, I guess. But we'll see what's going to happen. So we might just follow around and see what's happening around the front. It's not every. This is probably the first confrontation we've had, I think. I don't think OMV probably just told them to stay home. They don't want media on this. They prefer to keep behind closed doors. We've had multiple attempts to try and speak to them publicly, privately, and they've just barred up. We had this lovely lady over here, Abby. She scaled the Majestic Centre in Wellington at their second headquarters, and so that was one of the most bravest things I've ever seen, really. I could not do that. It's pretty scary. We visited that actually yesterday in Wellington, and it was pretty wild, really, thinking about how someone did that. So she had to do that along with another climber to deliver that message to OMV, because they know what they're doing. They're operating behind closed doors. They don't want the public to know. We're here, we can be arrested, but it seems as though they've coordinated with the police to say they don't want to arrest, because that's more media coverage. They don't want people to know what's going on. So it's good. It's a lot of fun. Really enjoying it, and we're going to be here for a few days. I'm personally really enjoying these trees. We don't have any of them down in Dunedin, but we might in the future if things OMV gets their way. The climate will get unstable, it will get extreme, like we're seeing extreme weather, bushfires in Australia that have decimated habitat for wildlife. Like koalas are one of the species that are functionally extinct. They don't have habitat anymore. And so these kinds of things, we talk about the climate change, and it sort of sounds as though sometimes, change is good or it's just weather, but it's creating extreme conditions. It's removing, climate crisis is ecological crisis. We've lost the ability for natural ecosystems to maintain, and this is what's happened in Australia, where fires that have been going for thousands of years have become more and more prevalent. The weather has sparked them in different months that they're not usually in, and it's just getting huge. So yeah, we're here to speak to all of that. It's a bit overwhelming when you get down to it, but we'll come over here. We'll see what's happening. Maybe we'll get one of our lovely chants going over here. So we've got these great people going on. Hey guys, we're just on live stream right now, and we were thinking maybe, do we want to start one of our Power to the Peaceful? Yeah. So we've got this lovely chant that speaks to a lot about what we are about. We're a peaceful, non-violent movement, and we believe it's peaceful opposition to corporates like OMV that will change this world. So we're going to just start this. So, power! Power! Peaceful! Peaceful! The peaceful got the power. Peaceful got the power. Power to the peaceful. Power to the peaceful. Tell me, can you hear me? Tell me, can you hear me? It's only getting louder. It's only getting louder. Power! Power! Peaceful! Peaceful! Power to the peaceful! Power to the peaceful! The peaceful got the power! The peaceful got the power! Tell me, can you hear me? Tell me, can you hear me? 'Cause we're only getting louder! 'Cause we're only getting louder! So much love and power! So much love and power! Power to the peaceful! Power to the peaceful! 'Cause the peaceful got the power! 'Cause the peaceful got the power! Oh, ka pai, that's beautiful. And maybe should we give the live audience a couple of the other ones? Yeah, right. OM who?
OMV! OMG, get out of our seats!
OM who?
OMV! OMG, get out of our seats!
OM who?
OMV! OMG, get out of our seats!
Hey ho! Hey hey! OMV has got to go!
Hey hey! Ho ho! OMV has got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! OMV has got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! OMV has got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! OMV has got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! OMV has got to go! Hey hey!
Ho ho! Awesome, that was just fantastic. Does anyone want to speak about why they're here today? And got a nice dad on live stream. That's so cool. We're making it accessible for the masses. So we're here today protesting OMV. So they're one of the 100 companies responsible for. So OMV are operating drilling, deep sea drilling in Taranaki in the Great South Basin near my home. They're also complicit in war crimes around the world where they've killed people.
Oh, that's a big jump.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. So in order to do so,
big jump from stopping drilling to talking about war crimes.
So you were talking about OMV, who are a large company. They're a $1 trillion company that are responsible for a lot of harm on the environment and people around the world. And so it's not every day that we get a chance to stand up to them.
I don't like the thought of them fracking, but you take the drilling out of Taranaki, you take a lot of jobs and a lot of income out of Taranaki.
Does it affect you quite personally, does it?
I'm sure it would if they stopped it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot about what we're trying to do here is we care about workers, because a lot of us, we're working people ourselves, and we want to talk about a just transition to protect workers and actually help them transition into renewable energy, because there are a lot of jobs in there.
Yeah, I agree that renewable energy is a good idea.
Yeah. Cool.
But I think it needs to be done in a gradual, thought-out way, not just let's get rid of it.
Yeah, so we agree, and that's why we're here, because OMV, they don't want to do it gradual. They're just trying to squeeze as much profit out as they can, and they're delaying it. There's technologies there, but they're investing so much time, energy, and resources.
That's a big assumption too, that they're just trying to squeeze every bit of profit. I'm sure that there are people that work for the organisation that have more than just profit in their minds.
Yeah.
But keep up the good work.
Thanks. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Things need to happen. Things need to change.
Yeah. Cool. We really appreciate that support, and we're just trying to do our bit and help everyone protect the earth. And kia ora.
All the best.
Thank you. Cool. So that was a really lovely interaction with the local here. We're just really reiterating that point. I think a lot of people are really scared about what this means because, our system changing it affects everyone, and historically workers and people haven't been protected, and so that's why we are really calling on politicians. Megan Wood's Energy Minister, we'd love an independent commission set up overseeing a just transition. You recently spoke at the Aotearoa Christchurch Gas Forum conference, and we know that you condemn them, but that's not enough. We actually need to see meaningful change. We need to see leaders. We need revolutionary leaders speaking to the future we need to see and what a climate and just transition looks like. It's not enough to still work with these companies like OMV who they've intentionally harmed people, harmed the planet for so long. They're not interested, vested interests in business as usual. This is why we're here. It's causing this crisis, and we need this just transition. So again, that's why we're here today, and it's a lot of fun. So if you're watching this live stream, support us, join us. We're a fun, welcoming group. We have a lot of fun. We sing songs, we eat a lot of nice food, and just have generally a grand old time. So tell your mum, tell your grandpa, tell your friends, tell your whānau, speak to this. There's a recent Yale study that came out that spoke to one of the most effective things you can do is just have a conversation, and conversations is what helps change people and helps them see sort of what's going on. So have those conversations. They're really hard, but it's necessary. And I think that's what Luke said earlier, it's time to repoliticize everything, because life is politics, and politics affects every aspect of life, and we're kind of at that point now where it's affecting everyone in a really harmful way. So it's time to shape up. It's time to do the hard mahi and have these hard conversations and work together, because it's not an us versus them, it's just us. We're all part of this earth. We're all from the land we are born, from the land we return. So we're just here to send that love, and find that way to work together to the solution that we need the world to look like. So kia ora, thank you. Holy shit, it's so hard to do. How do they do